What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Watchtower. That is right. This is Slav's Free Talk podcast, DC centric show where we talk all things DC. That's right. Tonight, typically we would do just a single topic, but there was some big news that dropped yesterday. So we're going to talk a little bit about Dynamic Duo, and then we're going to get into lanterns, and we're going to talk all about that. So let's get into it, guys. Let's jump into this show. What's going on, guys? How's it shaking? Got a few people watching. I already see some people were here, already putting some things in the chat. How's it going? People are joining us, sit here and speak. I'm going to throw a poll up on the stream right now for our quick little topic. Like I said, we're going to talk very quickly about dynamic duos because this news broke yesterday. I did a quick video on it, and I did the video, I put it up, and for some odd reason, I don't know if I screwed something up whenever I was on there. I accidentally took the video down when I was trying to fix the feature image, I guess, and I noticed it. I don't know if it was late last night, like it was like late last night. I noticed it and I put it back up. But anyways, got a video up, but I want to talk a little bit about it today. Also, I hope you guys like the music. This is the music for the Watchtower. So hopefully you like it. If you don't, let me know and I will change it. But this is the music for the Watchtower. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. It's different. All right. So who do we got in here? We got Scared Life. Great to see you. Great to see you too. I love seeing people join in on these shows. It's always a good time. Always a good time. Who else do we got in here? I see. I'm not very good with this. Otito Ukwemi. I may be saying that right. I'm terrible with names. I see that he was in here about 30 minutes ago. Put some remarks in here about things. We got Johnny Dome Studios. He says Aaron Fisher says he will hate Dynamic Duo just because it's for families. All right then, interesting, very interesting. All right, but yeah, I wanted to talk about that first. So let's kind of jump into Dynamic Duos because I do want to discuss that real quick. It doesn't need to be a long discussion here, but I wanted to get everybody's thoughts on this. Yesterday, when I did the video about it, I was very excited because I think this is an awesome idea. I love the idea of this concept, this idea of going with telling a story of these two Robins, of Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. Now, I jumped on the train that I believe it is going to be connected to the DCU. And if you see the poll in the chat right now, it is, do you want Dynamic Duos to be part of the DCU? Right now with 4 votes. Everybody's saying yes with 4 votes right now. But that is the question. Is it going to be part of the DCU? Is this a project that is going to be part of it? The question, I was talking to a coworker today, and it was an interesting topic of discussion because at first he was kind of like a little indifferent about it. He seemed like he wasn't all on board because of the idea of Dick Grayson basically being a petty thief, as well as Jason Todd being a petty thief, and them being friends growing up and being a petty thief. And it being connected to the DCU. And we both actually were sitting there discussing this and was like, maybe it's not such a great idea because Dick Grayson's, his past, like his lore is so established with DC and has been for so many years. Is this the right time to make a drastic change like that? But as we were discussing even a bit more, it was kind of like, what? Maybe this isn't a bad time to do it. And even that, Dick Grayson is not Batman, but Bruce Wayne light. His parents died. He becomes an orphan and is raised by Bruce Wayne in that regard. He's Bruce Wayne light. So there's a big part of his backstory and his history that is important to why he becomes Robin. Now, if this is the DCU Robin, if he's going to be the DCU Dick Grayson, I think he needs to still have that story, and he very well could. But they could adjust it slightly. I mean, we could see it where he is an orphan still, that his parents die, but he doesn't go to Bruce Wayne immediately. He doesn't get adopted by Bruce Wayne immediately. He could be out on the streets with Jason Todd for a few months, for a couple years. Who knows, before Bruce Wayne adopts him and takes him under his wing and starts training him as Robin. So it could be an interesting story. And I think it could fit if they do approach it and attack it from that direction. But again, I love the idea of going with this in animation and this type of animation because it's different, it's cool, it's new, I don't want to say hip, but it is a cool new form of animation that is really big right now and innovative. I should say not big, but innovative. So I'm looking forward to it. I want to know what you all think though, because I want to see it part of the DCU. Any more that we can add to the DCU, expanding that universe, really blowing this universe up to greater heights is like great in my book. The more they can do, the more that they can add to it, the better is what I say. That's what I say. So what do you guys have to say in the comments here? Let's see. Otito says he's still here. Awesome. He says Two-Face would be a perfect villain for the movie. He beat the crap out of all the Robins. Johnny Dome, I'm open for the dynamic duo. The stop motion style would be cool. Tito says basically their arch enemy, saying for Two-Face. The thing is with Two-Face, it might be too early for Two-Face. It could be. I don't know. Who knows when they'll want to have Two-Face established? Will he be established early on in Batman's career? Or will he be established later on? Again, we don't know where everybody and every character fits in this universe yet. But it could be interesting. Scared Life. I'm excited about Dynamic Duo. It flesh out more of Jason Todd and Dick Grayson. I hope it will be a prequel to Brave and the Bold. That's what we're hoping. I mean, again, I asked, the poll that's up there, 7 votes now, still 100% say yes, they want it part of the DCU. I mean, we know it's not part of the Reeves verse, which is fine. That's good. Again, the discussion I was having with my coworker today, he was very much like, it sounds like it could fit better within the Reeves verse. And in a sense, it could, I guess, but I don't want them, and he even agrees, like, we don't want them to build out that universe anymore. Like, eventually it has to end because they need to focus on the DCU, specifically the DCU Batman, and really build out that universe if they want that universe to explode and be this huge, ever flourishing universe. Johnny Dome Studios, this movie will make Damian haters okay. Now we need a Damian Tim Drake movie. Maybe down the line. Maybe. Kevin Davis, Warner Brothers DC need a win at the box office. Well, duh. I mean, they're going to get there, and it's going to be Superman, guys. It's going to be Superman. Don't worry. Johnny Dome Studios. For the people that don't like Damian, this is for them. Just kidding. But Damian and Tim Drake project, please. I forgot to click on it. There we go. Kevin Davis. People are using excuses. Good or bad reviews. People have to support DC films. People are using excuses. Good or bad reviews. People have to support DC films. Oh, here's the thing. If a movie's bad, you don't support it if you don't like the movie. I mean, if it's a bad movie, say it's a bad movie, because it's the only way that it's going to get better. That's the only way that they're going to make the changes that need to be made. I've said that no matter what it is, whether it's DC, Marvel, Star Wars, it doesn't matter. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, whatever it is. If it's a bad movie, you need to make it known that it's a bad movie. It's a bad project. Otherwise, they're just going to continue making the crap. I mean, take a look at what's going on with Star Wars now. But that's the thing. If it's a bad movie, we got to say it. And I don't want to see bad movies in DC. So I don't want us to sit there and say, hey, Superman, if it's bad, we still got to support it and say it's great. No, not at all. If it's a bad movie, we got to say it's a bad movie, and we have to accept that, hey, they failed. But if it's a good movie, which I suspect it's going to be, then we have to support it because it's a good movie, and we have to make sure that we continue to support it and continue to talk it up, and hopefully that other people in the general audience buy into it sooner rather than later, because that will be the important thing. Whoops. Where am I at here? Thai Blue. Some were confused about the description being orphan thieves, but that's not true. The article said it was false claims. Interesting. So yeah, the article here is from Deadline. It says exclusive. Here's a really cool project that just got greenlit. DC Studios and Warner Pictures animation dynamic duo. It will mark the first joint project between DC Studios and Bill. I can't say Damask. I guess led WBPA. The sixth in Idaho movie, scripted by Matthew Aldrich, is being made by a new animation studio out of New Orleans named Swaybox, and that studio's husband and wife creators, Arthur Mintz and Teresa Anderson. Mintz will direct this movie, which follows the early days of Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, aka the Robins. Note the line here isn't connected to Matt Reeves' Batman and the Penguin canon. It says use technology as Momo and animation, which is crossed between CGI, practical elements, and stop motion, and live action real time performances. And it says I have wanted to make a fifth. It goes on and talks about this. The project news comes in the wake of DC Studios' Max series The Penguin leading the way. That's pretty much the only information we really got from this particular article. It says this: I wanted to make a film, dynamic duo, an incredible, special, and unique Batman and Robin story for families is a dream, Reeves said. That was from Matt Reeves. So again, if you're right, if it's false claims that they're orphan thieves, if that's not true, then that's exciting. If they're not going to both be orphan thieves, I like that idea. I like that even more. That gives me a little more hope that we'll see the actual true origin of Dick Grayson, at least, because perhaps Jason Todd makes sense of him being a thief, of him living on the streets being a thief. I can buy that, but not Dick Grayson. If Dick Grayson is the one that's trying to take Jason Todd under his wing and try to teach him the right path and become a better human being, a better person, then I like that a lot more. But we'll see. Scared Life, the puppetry combines with CGI could be something Marvel has never done. I like it. Why Arc 9? I'm skipped Joker 2. Okay. Johnny Dome Studios, clone Superman and Superman's son teaming up. Jeez. They're just gonna team up everybody. You got Bane and Deathstroke. You got the two Robins. Who else are they gonna team up now, right? Radioactive. Eventually, Reeves' Batman will fold into DCU, but no. But Matt would be overseeing Batman IP as would Gunn oversee Superman family, and methinks no, that's dumb. I know people like the Reeves Batman. I get it. I get that there are people that like the Reeves Batman, but it's not going to happen. His Batman is not fantastical enough. They're going for a far more fantastical angle with Batman in the DCU. I'm sure at first, when they were first discussing the DCU 2-3 years ago, they could have found an angle and a way for him in. But at this juncture, at this point, I don't think they're going to do it. And there's no reason to do it. Let Matt Reeves do his thing with Batman and Robert Pattinson. Let them do their thing and just let it end. There's no reason to do it. Audiences as a whole have accepted that we get new Batmans every once in a while. Like, that's just accepted at this point. I mean, we've all accepted it back in the 90s. We know that it's going to happen. Fans have accepted that more than anything else. Probably any other character ever, even just as much as accepting that we get a new James Bond occasionally. So it's accepted. And again, if it happens, it happens. But it's very, very, very unlikely. I would say it's more likely it is more likely that Henry Cavill is recast as Superman and they reshoot the entire Superman movie with Henry Cavill than they bring Robert Pattinson into the DCU. That's how sure I am that they don't bring Robert Pattinson into the DCU. That's how sure I am, because it doesn't work. It doesn't fit with what they're doing. I know there's a lot of people who think and have heard the false claims that Jeff Snyder supposedly made about Zaslav wants Robert Pattinson, but that's not what it was. David Zaslav wants Batman. He wants a Batman movie because it makes them money. That's what he wants. He wants a Batman movie. He wants it done fast. And Jeff Snyder was basically just saying, well, I think, and this was Jeff Snyder's speculation and desires, that he just wants the Reeves Batman to be in the DCU. It wasn't Zaslav saying that. It was just Jeff Snyder saying that he thinks that would be the best course for it. But that's just one man, and I know that there's a bunch of fans who want that, but I don't think it's the right move. I don't think it is. It doesn't fit the aesthetic. It doesn't fit the tone and the direction of the DCU. You can tell just by the way that everything is starting, the groundwork is getting laid, and how they're talking about it. It's not going to work. Otito, funny how people say Marvel better than DC, but it's pretty much only in movies. We destroy them in animation, video games, and TV show all the time, man, all the time. You're exactly right. Andre Terrell, I'm going to support DC movies, whether it does well or not. Hey, I mean, that's great. That's great. Again, you do you. I'm the type of person that I want to make sure that we get the best content available with DC. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm going to trash. Like, okay, if Superman comes out and it is completely horrible, I'm not going to turn into one of those toxic assholes and sit here and say, James Gunn, you suck, you piece of crap, and blah, 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 this and that. You destroyed Superman. No, I'm going to speak the honest truth on my channel, on my website, on my social media, and say, look, Superman didn't work. This is why it didn't work. And this is why, they need to right the ship and make it better. But I'm not going to not support DC moving forward because, hey, the next movie might work for me. Lanterns might be a home run and I might love it. That is what I'm going to do. I'm still going to support DC, but hey, not every project is going to be for me. And I understand that. It's when every single project isn't for me, that's when it becomes a problem. Because when every single project isn't for a DC fan, somebody who's been a DC fan his entire life, that's when it becomes a problem. Okay, YARC, you skipped Joker 2. You told us that already. Why? Why did you skip Joker 2? Hungry Almighty, do you think Jason dies at the end of the dynamic duo? I don't. Because specifically they said that it's for families. I don't think he dies at the end of it. I think this is going to be an interesting dynamic. I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic because I think it's going to build a relationship between the two of these characters, Dick and Jason. So in feature films and other projects, when Jason and Dick are on screen, there's going to be a connection, and you're going to understand why they have a connection if you watch this show. And even if Jason is already dead in the DCU, in live action, when spoilers, he comes back to life as Red Hood, he's, there's that impact for Dick Grayson. All right, guys, there's a lot of comments here. I didn't want to be on this topic that long. So I'm going to jump through a couple more comments here, and then I want to get to our main topic why we're here today. Hungry Almighty does ask, wait, so what is this puppetry animation? Can you give an example of a movie or show that used that style? Well, let me see if I can find something here. I did have something here. Let me see if I can find it, because I did have kind of an example of it. I just want to see if I can find it. Yeah, I mean, it's really, really interesting. This here, right here. I don't know if you can see it. This is kind of an example of it. Obviously on the right side of the screen. Let me see if I can make it bigger for you guys.
Food
Oops.
that Mom has put in front of us and stop!
So that's kind of the animation style on this side right over here that they're going for, which is different. It's interesting. Remember, this is for families. This isn't like a grown up. This isn't for, hardcore grown ups. It is for families, which again, remember with the DCU, they are going for different tones and different styles for reaching a grander audience, a bigger audience. You have your Wallers, you have your Brave and the Bold, you have your Supermans, you have your Swamp Things, you're going to have your Authorities hitting different tones, different styles, different aesthetics. So it makes sense. I like it. It's interesting. It's different. It's a way to approach the universe in a different way. And I like it. I think it's a good idea. Definitely a good idea. All right. Let me get out of this here. All right. Well, I lost where I was here. Kevin Davis says HBO need hit shows besides House of Dragon and The Last of Us. Well, they got Penguin right now, or is that HBO? That's HBO. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. They got Penguin right now, right? Johnny Dones says thoughts on far future Batman Beyond and DCU, but also have a main Batman for Justice League. Anything's possible right now. I've always been a fan of Batman Beyond. The whole idea of doing that at some point, I'm all for it. Absolutely. And Andre Terrell, for the dynamic duo animated movie, they need to have Batman making an appearance in it. If they are Robins in it, absolutely. If they are Robins, absolutely. All right, so let's get on to the main topic. Why we're all here today to talk about lanterns. All right, let's do that. I'm really thirsty today, so I apologize. I'm going to be taking drinks. I don't know why I'm so thirsty today. All right, so let's get into it. Over at SlavsFreeTalk.com, you can find this article over there. DC Studios Lantern series, what we know so far, and more. And the more is just speculation on what we're going to talk about here today. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more that we talk about that isn't in this article, but some of the stuff that I want to talk about is in the article here. It's really interesting. So, yeah, Lanterns coming out. It's going to be starting to shoot this coming January. Which is exciting. I mean, it's going to start shooting around the same time as Supergirl. So if Supergirl comes out in June of 2026, that would probably put Lanterns, I'd say, coming out. My guess is going to be spring or late winter of 2026. And that's my speculation. If we have Superman July 25, Peacemaker, fall, winter of 25. Lanterns, I think, is going to be between Peacemaker and Supergirl. That's just my speculation right now. But I could be wrong. They could push it out sooner. They could push it out faster. Who knows? But it's coming, guys. We still don't have our Jon Stewart casting. But here's what we know. Lanterns follows new recruit Jon Stewart and Lantern legend Hal Jordan, two intergalactic cops drawn into a dark Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. Now, the plot is expected to revolve around a complex mystery, drawing inspiration from shows like True Detective. Hal Jordan, played by Kyle Chandler, is a seasoned Lantern in his 50s. He will be paired with the younger Jon Stewart, a new recruit in his 30s. The dynamic will set the stage for a mentor-protege relationship, making a show a blend of veteran experience and youthful ambition. The series is said to run for 8 episodes and is set to be a key piece in the broader DCU, aligning with James Gunn's Gods and Monsters narrative phase. This placement suggests that Lanterns will not only delve into the lore of the Green Lanterns, but also tie into larger DCU themes, making it essential viewing for fans looking to explore the new interconnected universe. Filming is slated, like I said, to begin in early 2025, January, in Atlanta. It was originally going to film in the UK, but apparently it moved to Atlanta due to it being better for the grounded aesthetic. Casting is still ongoing with names like Aaron Pierre rumored for Jon Stewart, though no confirmations have been made. All right. Let's see. What do we got here? Now, Johnny Dome Studios, just curious, since Batman had the Yellow Lantern fear, did Superman ever get a Blue Lantern of Hope? It's a good question. I don't actually know. Lanterns, I'm going to be honest with you, lanterns are not my strongest when it comes to my knowledge. I'm really good with Superman. Batman's my best. Flash, I'm pretty decent with. Lanterns, I'd probably say I'm like fourth or fifth on when it comes to my knowledge. Aquaman and Wonder Woman are probably pretty far down there when it comes to the big names in DC. So I'm not really sure about that. But anyways, let's get into it here because I want to talk about what the potential story could be. Again, we see up here, they're drawn to an Earth-based mystery as they investigate murder in the American heartland. A lot of people are calling this, and I've seen other reports state that it is an ancient threat. An ancient threat. That's what I kept seeing pop up when I was doing some research on this, but I've not seen anything official. Like nothing from James Gunn, nothing from DC Studios saying it's an ancient threat. But I keep seeing it. So I kind of was like, you know what? I'm going to stick to that. Even though I haven't seen anything official, even though, and we just talked about this on Monday, we shouldn't take anything unless it comes from James Gunn or Peter Safran as official. But I kind of wanted to stick to that ancient threat because that makes the most sense when it comes to lanterns, them sticking to Earth for this ancient threat. Like, why are they sticking to Earth and what is going on Earth? So that's what I wanted to do. So the first thing I came up with isn't so much an ancient threat, but it's Sinestro. We've heard rumblings that Sinestro will play a part in this film. And it's rumored that the show is partially going to be inspired by Sinestro's Law. Now, this arc is from Hal Jordan in the Green Lanterns comic series, which ran from 2016 to 2018. The story involves Sinestro and his Yellow Lanterns imposing martial law over the universe during a period when the Green Lantern Corps is in disarray. This gives Sinestro significance, or given Sinestro's significance as Hal Jordan's former mentor turned nemesis and his deep-rooted connection to the Green Lantern mythos, it makes sense that he would play a central role in the series. Moreover, the inclusion of Sinestro adds a personal layer to the conflict, highlighting his complex relationship with Hal, which began as a mentor-student dynamic before evolving into a bitter rivalry. Sinestro's mastery of the yellow light of fear and his ambitions make him a potent adversary, aligning well with the darker detective-style tone that Lanterns aims to capture. So this could be interesting, and the most intriguing aspect of this is Sinestro in this little story arc could fit with my other ideas and stories, or the other stories that any of you could come up with as well. Because of it being Earth-based, this whole thing could be going on across the galaxy with the whole Lantern Corps, but something's going on Earth. So that could be like the backdrop on why Hal and Jon Stewart are on Earth. And they're stuck on Earth right now because of martial law. And you have this whole backdrop of the Sinestro Law going on. And there's something going on Earth. So that could be like an interesting little dynamic there as well. We got Hunter Iggy here. What is up? What's going on, man? Scared Life says, ancient threat tells me it might be Center or Dinosaur Island if you prefer. Possibly. Maybe. What is going on with this thing? Let's see. Otito, you should read some comics surrounding Sinestro. He's up there with Lex and Joker and DC's most iconic villains for a reason. Oh, absolutely. I agree. Sinestro is phenomenal. He's a great villain. He is an absolute great villain. Scared Life says, I'm sure murder they investigated is of Guy Gardner. Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Interesting. I didn't think about that. Poor Nathan Fillion. Johnny Dome Studios just joking about Josh Brolin as Mongol, pretty much same as Thanos. I know. I know you were joking about that. I figured. Radioactive read somewhere that DCU could be leaning away from Jeff Johns' Lanterns related stories. Would like that personally. Any ideas on what stories are interesting? Sans Johns. Well, the one story that I was leaning towards, and actually, if they go Sinestro Law, 2016, 2018, that is Jeff Johns' era. So again, that's kind of within his time frame. But the ancient threat that they could potentially, and I was talking about this with my coworker again today. Uh, the larger threat in the Lantern series, there is a larger threat in the Lantern series expected to revolve around an ancient horror that Hal Jordan and John Stewart will uncover during their Earth-based investigation. The dark mystery might serve as the entry point for bigger storylines that span across the DC universe, potentially linking to a significant Green Lantern story like Blackest Night. Now, here's the thing. I know everybody's going to say, well, Blackest Night means, because this is what my coworker said, well, you have to have all the heroes dead. You have to have a whole bunch of heroes dead for that to happen. And you're right. But remember, if this is the catalyst, if this is the starting point, so this is just the introduction to that character of Necron. Say Necron is introduced in this show. So I like the idea of what you said here, where Guy Gardner is killed. So Guy Gardner's killed, but Necron is introduced in this show and brings him back to life. And this is our first introduction to Necron. And he brings him back to life, and there's this whole threat and battle against Guy Gardner and Necron and everything like that. And they think they defeat Necron, but that leaves the door open that down the line in the future, the storyline of Blackest Night could be reintroduced and brought into the lore when we have a whole bunch of other dead heroes at some point in time. Again, you're laying the groundwork for the future of the DCU. So yeah, you can have a cool story right now with Necron, with an ancient horror, an ancient threat. With Necron, because Necron is an ancient threat. I mean, he's from the past. I mean, that's what he is. He's an ancient threat. So I think that would be an interesting concept, an interesting way to do it. But is that the way that I think they're going to go? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's interesting. That's very much within the line of the Jeff Johns era, though. And if they want to get away from them, I don't know if they'll go. I don't think they would go that route. But it would definitely fit really well with the Gods and Monsters theme. I can tell you that much. I mean, if you think about it, very much so with monsters and the monster aspect there for sure. For sure. Ty Blue, don't know much about Green Lantern lore, so I'm excited to find out more. And that's the beauty about all this, because if you're not a big follower of Green Lantern, this show is going to really dive in more than you've ever heard or ever learned about Green Lantern before. I mean, that Ryan Reynolds movie barely touched the surface of Green Lantern lore. So this is really going to dive in. You're talking about 8 episodes, Green Lantern lore, really going to dive into some stuff. I think that's what's going to be so exciting. And starting conversations like this and just starting to dive in and just discuss the possibilities. None of this is official. I mean, we talked about what we know, and now we're talking about what are the possibilities of what this show could be. We could be far off. We could be right on. But regardless, starting today and moving forward until that show comes out, we're going to have these discussions. And because of these discussions, you're going to learn more about the lanterns and about the Lantern Corps and all the different types of lanterns, the blue lanterns, the yellow lanterns, the white lanterns, the black lanterns. All of this stuff you're going to learn about because of these conversations. I say this all the time to people, Ty, is this is the type of stuff that's exciting for franchises. When there's so much divisiveness within a franchise, you miss out on this. You miss out on the speculation, the excitement, and the hype of just having a conversation about speculating on what's coming. What could it be? Now, you have to always temper your expectations, though, because sometimes you talk yourself into like, I want it to be this. I hope it's this. So, as long as you can temper your expectations and not sell yourself so much on your ideas, then you should be fine and just have some fun doing it. So I hope you do learn some stuff, not just from, me, obviously from the show when it comes out, but from other fans as well as we lead up to it. So hopefully you do have some fun with that. Johnny Dome Studios, Evil How could also be an idea. Absolutely. And I think that could be a direction they go. That could be, I mean, him being in his 50s and maybe there's for some reason they go that route. Maybe him and Guy Gardner were really close, and if Guy Gardner is killed, maybe that makes him unhinged. Who knows? Scared Life, another thought. This threat could be Parallax, since Hal is older. Yeah, I actually didn't put Parallax in my thoughts, in my thought process here. I just think he's too big of a threat. I think he's too big. I think I don't know if he fits for a TV show. Like that to me, that's like a big film threat. Again, that's just me, but maybe he would work. Maybe. I don't know. I do have another option here. Oh, Tito. Just some Green Lantern lore. Not all lanterns are necessarily humanoid. Very true. Mogo, the living planet, and Squirrel with a strong will. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, and there are plenty of different types of lanterns, different types of species. That's the word I'm looking for. So yeah, Scared Life, Blackest Night is what I've been praying for. I hope this comes to pass. So, I mean, Blackest Night would be phenomenal. It absolutely would be great. Again, I think this would be, again, this is just my first, not my first, but like one aspect idea that I came up with. Like, it would be cool to lay the groundwork. You lay the groundwork here with Necron and the Blackest Night just to see, like, there's this possibility where dead heroes can be brought back to life and be evil. Okay, they beat Necron here. He goes away. And in 4 or 5 years, once they establish more of the supernatural elements of the DCU, more heroes during that time have died, have passed away. All this stuff has happened. Oh, look, Necron is back and he raises the dead, and you have another Green Lantern movie or series that is like a big event movie or series where they're fighting Necron and a bunch of formerly dead heroes. Like, that would be really cool to see. So that's what I think could be. I won't say could happen, but it could be cool. It would be cool to have it happen. Is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Oh man. All right. Next one that I have. This one's interesting because Martians. I don't know how many people are thinking Martians, and I have to give credit to somebody here because I was in the comments section. Oh, and I forgot about my poll here. Do you want dynamic duos to be part of the DCU? We actually, out of 20 votes, 20% said no. What 20% said no? I just ended the poll. But they're Scared Life. It was actually Scared Life who said it, I think. Yeah, Scared Life. You actually said in the comments here, White Martians, or are they called HyperClan? You said something about White Martians here in the chat early on. White Martians could be a really interesting aspect for a couple reasons. Now, we know that James Gunn hinted to Martian Manhunter on the set of Superman with the Choco cookies. And we have an idea that he's planning on Martian Manhunter probably. Okay? But the history of the White Martians in DC Comics is really interesting because I don't think a lot of people know this. But the white Martians at one point in time actually traveled to Earth. Again, ancient threat. Remember, we're talking about an ancient threat many, many years ago. And during the time when they came to Earth, then it was like an uncivilized Earth, and they're basically like, I don't know if it was like cavemen or something, but they were performing experiments on the animals and the humans of that time. And while they were performing experiments on humans and the animals, they discovered the meta human, or the meta gene in the humans. They discovered it then. And because of that, they actually altered the what is it, the word I'm looking for? Um they altered the humanity's destiny forever. And thus what this could do is, one, bring in the whole Martians aspect to the DCU this way. Martians are pretty much a villain. The white Martians are villains for pretty much everybody, specifically the green Martians, Martian manhunters, race of Martians from Mars. And then you have the ancient threat there. You then dive into the explanation of the meta gene. So you start to get into that explanation to explain what this is for the DC universe, which would be really cool to explain and flesh out for the audience to understand, like, why are there superheroes in this world? What is a superhero? Because I guarantee in Superman, they're going to have Lex Luthor talking about the meta gene. They're going to talk about metahumans, and they're going to talk about this and that in that. But are they going to go in depth about it? But how cool would it be then in Lanterns, you discover, oh, this metagene has been around for centuries. Like, that would be a cool thing. Again, having an impact for the grander DCU. I just think that'd be kind of neat. What do we got to say over here, guys? Let's see. I'm missing. Where are we at? I missed it. Tito, wonder if they could add an Anakin Obi-Wan-esque moment between Sinestro and Hal, since he was Hal's mentor. I mean, maybe. Being that I think Sinestro, I don't think Sinestro is going to die in this movie. I don't even think Hal's going to die. I think he's going to kind of go off into the quote-unquote sunset. I think he'll kind of, I think somebody in the comments said maybe go off into space and just kind of go off and do his own thing. But I could see him definitely, or not him, them. I could see them definitely having a moment where they kind of do their own thing. Have a moment talking about, remember when we were younger, remember when you were teaching me, that kind of thing. They could definitely have a moment like that. Scared Life. This could also lead into the Hyper Clan or the White Martians. That's what a friend of mine was telling me yesterday. He just finished reading New World Order. Haven't heard that one yet. Yeah, I mean, again, you open the door when you get into the White Martians. You kind of open the door up for further storylines with the White Martians, with the Green Martians, with the Yellow Martians. There's a whole lot more that you can open up with that whole idea. The greatest thing is, I think with the DC universe, we're not going to be stuck just going one direction with the storylines. I think we're going to see that we can go into the past, we can go current day, we're going to be in the future, we're going to be, 10 years ago, we're going to be 100 years ago with stories. And I think that that's a cool aspect, and that's a cool way to look at it. So maybe will we get a Martian Manhunter movie that kind of dives into the war between Martian Manhunter and the White Martians, or Martian Manhunter, the Green Martians versus the White Martians? What happened to the Green Martians? Why Martian Manhunters on Earth? That kind of stuff. I mean, that story has been done on television, but it still could be interesting if done right. Maybe not a movie, maybe a TV show, maybe an animated thing. Who knows? Like, we could see something like that happen because they just would introduce the White Martians here. It could be cool. It could be interesting. Otito, the potential with this is great. DC villains are elite, but Warner Brothers wasted them or did them dirty. I just don't. I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. I just don't want them to kill them all off, and that's the thing. I don't want to see them do what Marvel did and just start killing off their villains in the beginning of the franchise, so then they don't have them down the line. Because then when you don't have them down the line, it's kind of like, well, now we have to use this crappy villain, and you don't have like great actors. Like when they had what's his name? I can't remember his name, who played Ironmonger in the first Iron Man. Like you have a great actor like that in a movie playing the villain, and he did phenomenal in that role. He just chewed up the scenes in that movie. And down the line, it would be great to have him come back again, especially now that Tony Stark is dead. Have him come in and have a movie where it's like, well, with Tony Stark gone, now I can finally, take my place and do what I wanted to do. And then there's a story for Rhodey, or there's a story for, another character to come in and fight him. That kind of stuff. Like, that's what I want to see in the DCU is don't kill off all your villains. Keep them around in some form or fashion. Don't kill them off so we can see them come back again and again. And JL, Martians? That sounds cool. Since also we are getting Teen Titans Project, what about the Green Lantern show starts a seed for Trigon? Or is that too far-fetched? I don't know if there's a connection there. I think there needs to be more of a connection. Again, the Martians don't necessarily have a giant connection to Lanterns, but I guess Trigon could work. Not really sure where it fits, though. Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? I don't hate the idea. Like I was talking to my coworker today. I want to see Supernatural. Marvel is flubbing up with the Supernatural stuff. I love the Supernatural side of comic books. I love Constantine. I love Etrigan. I love Trigon. I love Raven. I love all of the Supernatural, Swamp Thing. I love all of that stuff in DC. I love all the Supernatural in Marvel. That stuff is cool. That's interesting. But Marvel screwed it up. DC has the opportunity now to show them up. So why not? Why not do something crazy like Trigon? Why not? Jay Kelly, what would that mean for Vandal Savage? Did we talk about, is there a comment about Vandal Savage? Was Vandal Savage rumored to be in this show? I don't know. Sorry, Jay Kelly. I don't know. Am I missing something? Because is there a connection that I'm missing also for Vandal Savage? I'm sorry. I don't know. Please, maybe I'm missing something. Radioactive, wasn't White Martian supposedly what Gunn wants in his Peacemaker, but turned out to be butterflies in the end? So I think Martians are a possibility in relation to Peacemaker, Superman, Waller, and Supergirl. Is that what it was? Did he want White Martians in Peacemaker? Is that what he wanted? But they did the butterfly thing? Wasn't aware of that. Or maybe I was. I don't know. Could be interesting. Ty Blue, could the mystery John and Hal uncover be something related to Brainiac, which could end up as the big bad for Chapter 1? I think that's what everybody's hope is, that it somehow leads to Brainiac. I think that's what everybody's hope is. I know that's what my hope is, but the more I sit there and the more I think about the title of Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, I don't see where Brainiac fits within the Gods and Monsters aspect, unless Gods and Monsters are not gods, good guys, monsters, bad guys, but rather gods and monsters teaming up together to fight the villain. That's the only other thing that I could think of for that. That's maybe that's again, I want to see Brainiac as much as anybody else does on the big screen. I've been wanting to see Brainiac for 20 plus years on the big screen. They need to make it happen. They have to make it happen at some point. They need to do it soon. But I don't know. I mean, it could be. I Is it possible that Brainiac could be maybe again? It could be a connection again. Outer space, lanterns, Brainiac, outer space. But it sounds more like they're trying to make it more earthbound, and that's what I was trying to stick to more so is the earthbound aspects to it. Again, Brainiac has been earthbound because of the Superman connection and such, and the in that regard. But I don't know. I just again, I want to see Brainiac. I couldn't convince myself because trust me, when I sat down to think about this, I was like, how can I connect Brainiac to this? And I couldn't think of a way to do it. But if you guys can think of it, let me know. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. Johnny Dome or Lanterns versus authorities because the law and stuff, or Amazonians with the gods just spitballing. Wouldn't that be something if it just turns out to be Amazonians? It's just the ancient threat are the Amazonians. That would be dumb. Not that I don't like the Amazonians, I just think that would be dumb. And the authorities, maybe I don't know. I'm still not 100% sold on that movie. That idea. It's just not the right time for it, in my opinion. That's all. Radioactive, and again, that's what this is. Radioactive. He says, and again, I would want Dave Bautista cast as Martian Manhunter, the way his physique looks right now, and one of the earliest friend of Gunn, to want to work immediately with him. Oh, that's what you're saying, Jake. I got you. Vandal Savage is the first meta. I got you. Whew. Wow, I'm all over the place here. I don't know what that would mean. I don't know what that would mean because again, that the whole thing that wouldn't mess anything up with that story. Again, because the Martians, the white Martians doing their experiments were after that. And remember, Vandal Savage was here and then like here, and then time went along and Martians came here and did stuff here, and then time went along. So they discovered it here when Vandal Savage was born here or created here. So I mean, I don't think it would mess up anything. I wasn't correlating following that. I'm sorry. Because in my head, they weren't back that far. I'm sorry. But no, I understand what you're saying now. I don't think it would mean anything, but now that you bring it up, that would be a hell of an ancient threat, don't you think? I mean, come on. Like, if you really think about it, that would be a hell of an ancient threat. Now that you really think about it, but yeah, I don't think they'll go with Vandal Savage, although it'd be kind of neat. Man, I don't know. Tito, they would have to give a glimpse of Oa, the Green Lantern headquarters. It can't be all on Earth. I think they will. Absolutely, I think we're going to see Oa. I think we're going to see a lot of space. I think, though, the bulk of the show is going to be on Earth, but I think they're going to explain and showcase, who the Lanterns are, what the Lanterns are, and really understand what this faction is and what they are. Remember, they're going to make sure that people who don't understand and know what Green Lanterns are, they're going to make sure that they explain it to them and they show like the fantastical aspects of it. So I wouldn't be worried about that. Jay Burns, it's a great theory on Gods and Monsters name, though. Thank you. Yeah, again, when I think about this stuff, when like last week, even whenever we were talking about Brave and the Bold, I always start at the top there. I think about that, like this chapter is Gods and Monsters. How do these stories fit into that? Like, how does that work? But you have to understand, what does Gods and Monsters even mean? And we don't even have a clear understanding of that yet. JL, let's not forget the show Paradise Lost. Could be that since even Diana was born, the threat was around all those years before. Yes. T.O. Jones, Drax as another alien. What if You know, why not? Why not Dave Bautista as Vandal Savage? Why not? Johnny Dome. DC wants a Deadpool-like character. They tried for Harley, but Lobo might work better if they were. Petty Red Toll would be a big diss to Marvel. Yeah, I think we're gonna get Lobo. He's not as Deadpoolish as Deadpool though, and I don't think Jason Momoa has the same aura as Ryan Reynolds does. So it's not going to work. But Lobo's going to come around. I think he's going to pop up in Supergirl. That's what I think is going to happen. So we're going to get Lobo, and that's fine. I mean, and it's going to be Jason Momoa. It just is. It has to be. That's who he was made to play. Like he was born and he grew up, and God was like, "You're Lobo." Like he was like, "You're Lobo," and that's what's going to happen. And I mean, that's that. It is what it is. I mean, we'll see how it plays out, but they don't need to make a Deadpool. They don't need to make a Lobo movie. Just let him be. Let him be Lobo. Let Lobo be Lobo. Don't need to make him like Deadpool. They don't need to make a Deadpool either. Just do their thing. Don't try to copy Marvel. Just be better than Marvel. That's all. Just do your own thing and just do your thing better than what Marvel does. That's all. Ty, all these theories just make me excited for the DCU. Exactly. That's all it should do. It should make you excited. Jay Burns, I really see Batista as Hugo Strange. Might just be me. Yeah, that's what everybody says nowadays. It's those glasses from Blade Runner 2049. It's those damn glasses he wore in that movie. That's why everybody sees him as Hugo Strange. That's why everybody sees it. Scared Life. My question is, would the White Martians terrify the Green Lanterns because they're discovering something terrifying? Well, maybe. I mean, are they do they know about the White Martians at that time? Is that something new to them? Did they know about them? Did they not know about them? I don't know. Jay Burns, Vigilante feels like this universe is Deadpool already. I'm sorry. Look, I know I talk how much I'm excited about the DCU, and how much I enjoy a lot of what James Gunn does. But there have been some misses from James Gunn. First and foremost, or at the top of that list, is what he did to Vigilante. I'm sorry. That is not Vigilante. He screwed up Vigilante. And I will say that till I'm blue in the face. He screwed up Vigilante. And I do not like the way he created Vigilante for Peacemaker. It was a terrible, terrible iteration. It sucks that iteration is being moved into the DCU. It sucks, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Like I said, not everything is for everybody, right? I liked Peacemaker. I liked the show. I just didn't like Vigilante. I did not like him. Like, I don't know why you had to have two characters like that. Because you had Peacemaker, who was the dumb idiot, the comedic relief. You didn't need to have two comedic reliefs. Like, I think it would have been better if Vigilante was the more straight face, the more like comic accurate Vigilante to the Peacemaker. I think that would have been way more humorous and way funnier than. That's just me. Matthew got it. Deadpool copied the Flash with all the cameos. Nobody cares though. Deadpool made over $1 billion. Flash flopped. Ron 6751. The terrifying thing is the Batman and Robin movie. Hugo Millie, whatever it is, kills Hal because I'm almost certain he isn't staying. And also, to get two Lanterns back on Earth, what has happened and which requires them to go back? Guy dying. Yeah, we somebody mentioned that earlier. Guy Gardner is killed, and I can't believe, like, I completely didn't even think about that. So, like, bravo to people who are sitting here actually thinking about that, because like we know that Guy Gardner is going to be in this, and honestly, my thought was that Guy Gardner was going to die in Superman. So when we found out that he was going to be in this, I was kind of like, oh well, that's disappointing. But yeah, I mean that makes sense. They kill him off, but I can't imagine they kill him and then they kill another Green Lantern off. Like that just I don't think they're gonna kill Hal off. I think Hal just rides off into the sunset, kind of quote unquote retires, maybe like I'm done with this. I don't want to do this. I'm too old for this shit. And kind of rides out into the sunset, but he will be back. That's kind of what I think will happen. Hugo Millie, Vigilante in the comics generally sucked. I cannot lie. It don't matter. He wasn't the comedy driven type of character. Like I wanted him to be more hardened, more badass, and not this goofy person that he was in Peacemaker. I wanted him to be a badass character. That's what I wanted. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say. Hunter Iggy, do you think we will Griffer in the DCU? I'm not sure what you're saying there. I'm sorry. Radioactive, I prefer the comic Vigilante. Hugo Millie, you'd be the only one who I've seen say that. His solo runs make no noise. Him being super serious in season 2 as an effect of the universe change will be so unique since Peacemaker still low-key treats. I don't think Vigilante is going to change in season 2. I think he's going to be just as he was in the first season. I'm just saying I didn't like him. That's all. His iteration. That's all. That was the weakest point for Peacemaker for me. Scared Life, hope you're listening to all this, James Gunn. We're on to you. Otito, does Superman's cast seem a tad overstacked? Like, I understand James Gunn is a master of giving love to each of his characters, but it looks like Lex Luthor will be the main villain. So a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there's, a very, very loud minority of people who are like, yo, look how stacked the Superman cast is. Okay. First off, we have to take a step back and we have to understand we don't know what the story is. We don't know how much of this movie that these characters are in. Lex is in the movie. Yes, it looks like Lex is going to be the main villain. We also know that there's going to be at least one, if not two other secondary villains in this film. Now, we also know that there's going to be Maxwell Lord type of team as well, with Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, and some others. It looks like it's going to be like a pseudo Justice League of sorts, or a Justice Society or something. We don't know what the name of them are going to be, but we know that it's going to be there as well. But how much of the movie are they in? Are they in it for like 5 minutes? Are they in it in the beginning of the movie and then the end of the movie? Like, we don't know any of this. So while yes, we've seen and heard that there's a bunch of characters in this movie, they could be in it for a total of 5-10 minutes of a 2 hour and 30-minute long movie. So it's not as stacked as a lot of people think it is. People just, take what they see on screen and they see, 15 characters. Oh man, this movie is stacked. When we don't know the full context and understand, one, how long the movie is. Two, we know James Gunn is a good writer. We know that he gives time to the characters that need to be taken care of. Three, he has stated, as well as all of the cast that has spoken about it, that this is a Superman movie. So I don't think we need to worry about that. So I think, look, yeah, we got Hawkgirl, we got Green Lantern, we got Mr. Terrific. We've got all these other characters in this movie. Sure, we're going to see them, but we know that this DC universe is filled with heroes already. So, of course, if we're jumping into the middle of a world with heroes that exist already, we're going to see heroes in it. That's fine. I accept that. That's like when you jump into a universe that has policemen in it, you should expect to see a policeman walking around. Or you jump into a universe where there's sports stars, you're going to come across a sports star. Like, that's just what happens. You expect to see these kind of things. That's all I'm saying. You follow? I mean, I think we just need to step back and say, you know what? Let's see how it plays out, and stop just jumping to conclusions on, oh, it's overstacked. I'm not saying you're doing it. I'm talking about the people who are freaking out about it. I think we just need to chill, step back, and say, let's see how it plays out. It could be great. Hugo Millie, like something that's expendable. Jay Burns wasn't 100% on how they did Peacemaker until Kyle Starks did Peacemaker, tries hard. Maybe having the comic closer to the movie version made it easier for me to like. Jay Burns, are we going to get Grifter? I think it's what they was asking. Oh, okay, Grifter. I don't know. I mean, why? I don't know. Hunter Iggy goes, I mean, do you think we'll get the Wildcat and Stormwatch in the DCU? I think right now, the sky's the limit on what we'll get in the DCU. I think right now, when it comes to James Gunn, he's willing to do and go with anything. And again, if he thinks it's gonna do well, he'll probably go for it. Wildcat, I could maybe see. I think it depends on if they decide to go the direction of the Justice Society, and if they want to go that direction. Yes, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Like, it's really hard to tell. Again, we don't know the full concept of this universe yet. Where do they stand? How is everybody? Like, we got an older Hal Jordan in this, and a young Superman. How old is Batman going to be? What Flash are they going to use? Is Barry Allen going to be old? Is Wally West going to be? Is it going to be Wallace West? Is it going to be Wally West? Like, who is, like, once we start understanding those characters, then we'll have a better understanding of maybe some of these other characters that are lesser knowns than we normally know. And maybe we won't. Maybe we won't understand at all. Maybe it's just they're throwing shit at the wall and like, hey, we want this character to be old, this one to be young. What the hell? Why not? Who knows at this point? I don't care. Just as long as it's good. Just as long as it's good. Otito never cared for Lex Luthor outside of animation. Hope Nicholas Holt gives a god tier performance that puts him right next to Heath Ledger's Joker, cementing Lex as a god tier villain. I think he'll do well. I like Nicholas Holt. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything that I didn't like his performance. Like, I've never seen him in a thing where I looked at his performance and said, he did bad. I've seen him in movies that weren't great, but I've never looked at that movie and said, he's the reason why the movie was bad. He's a really good actor. Scared Life. Next time we should talk about Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, since we're getting more casting information. Yeah, and I think we have a good bit of information on that. Jay Burns, I really want Spectre, Deadman, and the Creeper, even if they just have a special or something. See, I wonder if they're going to go that route with those types of things. I don't know. I wonder if they go that route. It'd be interesting. Hi, as a Justice League Dark fan, I'm hyped we're getting them starting from Swamp Thing movie. Yeah, man, I love the Justice League Dark. I said it, like, I love the supernatural aspect of stuff, so I'm looking forward to it. Jay Burns, sorry, commenting every 5 seconds. I'm just excited for what we could get. That's fine, man. Comment away. Johnny Dome Studios, an Animal Man comedy show for family audience, can be animated or live action, would work. Why not? I just want to let you guys know I'm going to start wrapping up here. At the end of this month, for members, I'm doing a member-only live show at the end of the month. I'm shooting for the 26th. I don't know what time yet. It kind of depends because I got kids, and that's right around when trick-or-treating's happening. Trick-or-treating, they do it like in the middle of the day now. It's really weird. So if if trick-or-treating is that day and it's in the middle of the day, we'll probably do it at night. It's a Saturday. I'm going to do a members-only show, but it's going to be where you guys can join me on the show, where we just sit and you guys can jump on and we can just talk on the show. You guys can join. It's not going to be live chat like when we sit. You guys can put up the link. You guys can join my show and we can have a discussion on the show. But you have to be a member. $2.99. to support the show, but that's the members only. So join as a member. That's how you have to do it, guys. So again, that's going to be October 26th. It's going to be the first one for it. I want to give everybody ample opportunity for that because it's going to be awesome. Support the show, $2.99, but then you can jump on. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be cool to hear some of your voices and to hear what you guys have to say. And what I will do is I will clip out some of those segments with your permission and throw them up on the channel when we talk. It'll be discussing DC. We'll discuss DC. We'll discuss anything you guys want to discuss. It'll be up to you to discuss what you want to discuss. Ask me anything. We can talk about anything. And if you guys are cool with it, we'll clip out the segments. We'll put them up on YouTube. And so people can hear what your thoughts are on things and my thoughts and have the discussion if you want. But yeah. But that's the plan. So again, support me, $2.99 a month, my channel, member only videos, that whole thing. It's going to be cool. I think October 26th, member only live show. But next live show for everybody will be on Monday, so don't miss that. And then next Wednesday will be the next Watchtower. In a couple weeks, once soccer season is over, the Watchtower will be moving to Thursdays. Once my kids' soccer season is over, so keep that in mind. Joe James says, DC is cooking. It sure is. Jay Burns usually nervous about commenting, but feels like a good group here. I think we're a good group. And Johnny Dome Studios, Animal Man, break the fourth wall, but making fun of Dora, not Deadpool-like. All right, guys. That's it for tonight. Thank you for joining. This was a great show. Again, thanks for joining. It was great talking about lanterns. With all that said, I will catch you all later.